is how to provide security for the private clouds, how to provide security for the public clouds. That is securing private and public cloud, private and public clouds, right? How to provide security for private clouds, how to provide security for public clouds. Those concepts we have to discuss. But that what the mechanisms we are implementing for providing the security in private and public clouds environment, we follow the mechanism. One is data encryption is required. Whatever, if you are using the public cloud or you may use the private cloud. Public cloud is nothing but anyone can be accessed. For example, the AWS is the public cloud, Azure, Google Cloud. There comes under the public clouds. How we are providing the security? That is by implementing the data encryption mechanism. Similarly, for the private cloud environment also. But what are the examples for the private cloud? OpenStack, Eucalyptus. There comes under the private clouds. How we are providing the private cloud environments for the user? By implementing the data encryption mechanism. Whatever you are transmitting the data in the cloud environment, whatever you are storing the data in the cloud environment, for that data you are providing the encryption mechanism. Encryption is nothing but not the readability format, that is non-readable format. That is nothing but we have to implement to secure the private cloud environment or public cloud environment. We are using the mechanism is data encryption mechanism. And also the another one is access control. Access control. That is implement robust access control to limit who can access cloud resources and data. Use a strong authentication mechanism such as a multi-factor authentication mechanism we have to implement, and to enforce the principle of least principal privileges. And also we have to implement the mechanism role-based access control, least privilege principles. That is for providing more security. That is one more layer of security they have to use those mechanisms. MFA stands for multi-factor authentication. That is access control mechanism is very, very strong. To implement robust access control, to limit who can access the cloud resources, who can access the cloud data, we are implementing one more layer of the security. For that, they are using multi-factor authentication, role-based access control, and the least privilege principle mechanisms they are followed. And then to provide the security in private cloud and for providing the security in the public cloud, the network security is also required. Network security is also required. That is, they are using for providing the network security. Firewalls is used, right? And intrusion detection system. Right? To provide the security, they are using firewalls and the intrusion detection system. Right? And also network segmentation to ensure the cloud network infrastructure. We have to apply the security groups and network security access control list. We have also discussed the access control list. ACLs we are discussed. How we are providing the security in networking. How we have to enable access control list for storing the data. That's we have seen hands-on in the AWS, ACL's access control list. And also for providing security in public cloud and the private cloud, it is also required. Security monitoring and logging tools are required. Security monitoring and logging tools are required, right? how the logs are providing. Per hour you need the logs, per day you need the logs, but that the logging tools we are using. And also who are accessing the data, who use what type of users are accessing the cloud environment for monitoring purpose, the monitoring tools and logging are used. Security monitoring and log tools are used. And also the auditing tools are also required. In the companies, they are using security auditings, right? And compliance. And also in the organization, there are many users are there for providing security. It may be in the public cloud or it may be in the private cloud. For 100 users or the 1,000 users are there, they are not providing individually the AWS account or individually Azure account. They are not providing. They are using identity and access management. With the identity and access management, they are creating the users. Identity and access management, they are creating the users, they are creating the groups, they are creating the policies, they are creating roles. Right? That is for providing the IAM users, groups, policies, and roles. They are used identity and access management in both public cloud and also the private cloud. For secure the public and private cloud, they are used IAM. For users, IAM users, you may give the username and the password. For more authentication purpose, they are implementing multi-factor authentication, role-based access control, and the least privilege principles they are followed in the IAM also. In the last semester, I have seen practically how I am implementing multi-factor authentication in the identity and access management users, how I am apply the multi-factor in the root account also, for the root account also. And also, whenever the cloud is in downtime, that is the failures are there, then we need data backup and disaster recovery is also required. Data backup and disaster recovery. Right? And also for providing security and privacy, vendor security assessment is required. Security assessment is required. And also for providing the security in public cloud and the private cloud, wherever the employees are there in the organization, in the private cloud, or it may be in the public cloud, the awareness is also required. That is, employee training is required, right? Training and awareness is needed. Employee training and awareness. And awareness. That is how we are implementing the security monitoring tools, how we have to implement the logging mechanism, right? How we are securing the data, right? That is how we have to access the database, how we have to use the IAM users, how we are providing one more layer of security. For that, you need the training is required. It may be the public cloud employees or it may be the private cloud organization. That is employee training and awareness is required for providing better security in the cloud. That is employee training and awareness is also required. And also incident response planning. Whenever the incident is there, for that, how they are responding the cloud providers. That is a incident respond and planning is required. Whenever the instance is downtime, how the public cloud provider is responding. For that, what they are planning without data loss, without data loss. That's why the another security to provide public and the private cloud incident respond and planning is also required. Those are the securing how we are providing the security and public clouds, private and public clouds. For providing security in the public clouds, these things are required. These things are required. For providing security in the public cloud also, these things required. It may be private or it may be public cloud. Those are commonly required. Data encryption, access control, network security, security monitoring and logging, security auditing and compliance, IAM users, data backup and disaster recovery, vendor security assessment, employee training and awareness, incident response and planning. Those things are common, right? Anyone have any queries? Anyone have any queries regarding this?